Hey friends, it's Renee Bradshaw. I'm going to be doing a larger past life reading today. This is typically 8 cards. Kind of just see what comes as I'm going. This is for a client who's got good memory, good work already going on her own for her past lives. So we're just going to try to see if we can fill in some blanks or get her just a little bit more information today. So I'm going to go ahead and shuffle, and then we will see what the cards tell us. Okay, so I don't know if you guys could see it because I know I fast forwarded, but the moon card popped up a few times while I was doing the reading, and that is definitely my card that we are on the right path here. So I'm drawn right away, and I'm seeing since we didn't have birthdays for this past life, but we did have a past life experience, I did ask the guides to go ahead and show me what the cards are, what we need to be looking for, and I'm pulled very much to you being represented in this life as the 8 of Swords, and he is represented by the Knight of Swords, and then right in between we had the Lover's card that just kind of told me, we know that you've gone through several lifetimes, not several, almost every lifetime, I think you said, with this person, and some lifetimes were great and some were not so, but I do see, even though we kind of have this representation here, this 8 of Swords, this bounded and forced into servitude kind of thing, situation going on, I don't feel like that's something that the feeling stayed. Like I feel that this was definitely a situation where you were chosen based on looks, and that's probably where, I know you said you have some vanity, remembering some vanity from this lifetime, and I think that was because you were chosen based on looks, and you were put into this connection, you're part of the harem, one of his wives. Now, I feel like even though this was the case in the beginning, I do feel that love was real. Definitely that the love was real. But I do feel that in the beginning and over time, there was some kind of cause to make you feel like you were forced against your will. And I am seeing that as possibly those other people that we saw that you were speaking about, the other wives in the harem that showed jealousy, that were a little bit angry. So I do feel like we're having like this the tower card here. I do definitely feel like that's a connection here for this. This is like, alright, the story, alright, I'm feeling it. I'm getting the story here from the guides. He was obviously born into power. He was strong, he was the male, he was the king, pharaoh, that was in charge of the land at this time, and he was born without automatic strength. There was no question about that. Now, I'm feeling like there was a moment of sadness, a moment of just everything falling apart in your previous life before you met him, so almost like that first part of your life before you met him. I feel like you were very young when you became his wife, like extremely young, and I don't feel like there was a sexual thing going on when you were very young. I just feel like that was probably, you were probably taken from your parents and placed in this situation, and that's where we're getting like this negative binding energy. But I do feel over the years, as the two of you grew and became older, with that that there was a genuine love connection here. I'm really feeling this, like these are all 3 major arcanas down here at the bottom. I'm definitely feeling this huge lifetime, this huge, like, this really impacted on you guys. And then we're feeling like the swords energy here, and a lot of people call that like stabby energy or hard energy, and I just see it as like a lot of mental energy. So there was definitely this place where he knew he was like the guy, and you knew you were in this position, and there was just nothing else. There was really nothing else to it. I mean, that was just the lives you had. And I mean, that's the beginning. That's before we're seeing the real connection between you guys. That is just kind of your positions and everything. We just got the king. We have the girl that was sold into his harem, probably by her parents, or whose parents passed, and they saw the girl was beautiful and one day would make a beautiful wife. I do feel like he had probably a lot of wives. I looked at this briefly. I didn't want too much going into my mind before the reading. Like, I didn't want to know every single detail. I did take into account what you've told me about what you remember. Those are important details. But I did only just glance at what is online about these two, because I didn't want that influencing me. So I did see online that there was one main wife, and then there were there was a head wife or queen, and then there was other wives, and then there was more that historians don't know about. The number I'm getting for those more is 39. So there's 39 wives that were not known about, and I don't feel like all of those were connections in the least. I feel like maybe there was sexual connection with most of them, if not all of them, when he was a teenager, coming out of that, those teen hormones and whatnot, but and when he was very obsessed with having that power. But I also feel that some of the wives were always off limits to him, not because of anything that's obviously everybody's on limits to the king, to the pharaoh, but I just feel like he made them off limits. Either there was no connection there, or he felt not right about a connection there. It was like he was trying to, it's almost like he had women there that he was trying to protect from outside forces, and that's how they ended up in his servitude. But I not really getting more than that at the moment. But so that's a lot of like what was going on with the other women and the prior to you guys finding that connection. So that leads me up to kind of some of this information that came out here while I was shuffling before I found the two of your cards. So I'm definitely seeing, like, these all came out reversed, so I'm going to keep them reversed, but I'm seeing like that Queen of Pentacles, that head queen, the one at the top of the harem, and then I feel like she always wanted more. These are all, we're looking at Pentacles cards here. Definitely a lot of money, a lot of wealth and riches, a lot of abuse of power, I feel like, between the sorry, it looks like someone bit my card. I don't know who did that. So it looks like there's like a lot of abuse of power with all these cards being reversed. So I'm definitely picking up that Queen, reversed energy there. The Knight of Pentacles, I almost feel like she herself had a secret lover, which caused some issues between everyone. And then I'm seeing this the reverse Three of Pentacles, and I'm feeling that abuse of power and abuse of riches with the other women in the harem towards you when you came up and you were ready to be part of that main tribe. So that main, I don't know how that works. I don't know, like, there's a hierarchy system, but I'm feeling like that main, the main women that followed him around, his main wives, I feel like these were handpicked either by him or advisors. There were reasons why these women were chosen, and then that the others were left behind. But I feel that somehow you snuck your way almost onto this, into this inner sanctum. Like, I don't feel like he noticed you at first. I feel like you were part of that 39. Well, you know what? The first number I heard was 40, and then it changed to 39 in my head. So now I'm feeling that's what it was. You were part of that 40. And then when you came out, there became 39. Now, he might have gotten another wife in that situation, but I feel like that's what those numbers were about, was how you had snuck out, how you become part of his inner sanctum was definitely, definitely a little bit of trickery. Now, the trickery that I'm feeling, I'm feeling seduction. Definitely seduction. I'm feeling, that was something that many of the women, I feel like, probably were doing, using their bodies to get ahead with him, how they wanted. But I feel like there was something about when you were one of the less affluent, less from maybe a wealthy family, or like you were in that original set of 40. I'm feeling like you were able to seduce him from that, and it made him feel powerful, even more powerful than before, because he was definitely like he expected that from his inner wives. They all wanted something. They wanted jewels, or they wanted the weekend off, or they wanted to go do this, or they wanted to take a trip. They wanted all these things. They really did, from him. And whenever they would come to him without him going to them first, he knew it was because they wanted something. But with you were able to make it seem like it was just about him. And I feel like for you, there was a lot that was just about him. There was definitely a connection. There was love. You felt it immediately. And maybe you were able to feel it quicker because, your role was just to be a wife, and your role was quiet, and he was the only man around, and he didn't feel it quite as fast because there were so many women around. He was juggling, his queen, and then the country, and everything, you have to do in that position. So I feel like that was something later that he felt, but that in the beginning, you just made him feel powerful. And I feel like you definitely drew from him like that he wanted to rescue you. That thing I was feeling earlier about the other women in the harem, the 40 women in the harem, like that rescue, that take care of. Well, he didn't get a lot of that. I feel like a lot of, I feel like he as well. I know you said that you were vain in that lifetime, but I feel vanity from him as well. And so I'm feeling like you just really stroked that vanity in more than one way. But that definitely brought you guys together. So I feel I definitely can feel it, and I can see it. And then when I come over here and I pick up the cards, I can see it visibly here. Again, this was you. So I feel like this is a lot of that that opening, like how you felt in the beginning when you were just kind of lost to that tribe of women. Oh, I know what I was feeling here. How he had that vanity, and he had that facade he had to keep up, but there was a part of him inside that wanted to take care of others. It wasn't a big part of him, but it was there, and it came out of him, I think, to those who stroked his ego. So that was something that came out. Now, the other women did get very upset. There was a lot of jealousy. I know you said you saw that before. I'm seeing, I just saw something getting thrown at you. It's like a grape or a kumquat, some kind of small round fruit, just like very angry woman with dark hair and a like a gray or white, dark white, not dark white, that's not a color, dirty white, gray, it's like it's kind of like a bikini top, and then like a long robe, kind of. I can't tell what's on the bottom, but she's covered there too. But she has this fruit in her hand, and she just chucked it at your head, and I saw that like fling by me when I picked this card up. So that's definitely and then it's funny because then the next card is the World, and while that's not a piece of fruit flying in the air, there is something flying in the air. So I definitely feel like with him, you felt like you had the World, and you certainly did, because you know, you might have had to deal with this jealousy and nonsense from the other women, but there was this, uh, you know, you had the money, you had the power, you could do whatever you want. And as you gain more and more favor with him, and as he legitimately began to care for you and you care for him, you definitely emotionally started to feel like you had the world, even though you were dealing with this flying fruit situation. So then we have him, who I feel like when he found you, or when he pulled you out of the, I don't know what it's called. I keep thinking lesser harem. I don't know what it is though, but there's like an inner sanctum of wives. So when he pulled you into that sanctum, I feel like it was definitely, he felt like something was missing. He was surrounded just like by all these beautiful women and riches and fame, and everyone listened to him, did what he had to say, and he still felt like he was missing something. And I feel like once you were there, I really feel that connection, feel that world, that world feeling that you had with him, is that world feeling that he got with you, but using the star card. But it's definitely a lot of missing something, being upset, and then together it was more. I mean, then you had to deal with these, I feel like you still had to deal with these women even before you were on the inner part, but it got darker. It definitely got harder when you were in the inner loop, and that's no surprise. Women are horrible anyways, aren't we? And then you add something like the true affections of the king, the love of the king, the him being the one, or I'm sorry, you being the one that he chooses over the others. So I know you're interested in seeing how he proves that he favored you, that he liked you, so cared for you more than he did the other women. So I'm definitely shuffling with that intent in mind. No, it's like half the deck there, so that's not. We get jumper cards, those are good, but if it's like half the deck, it's probably just my clumsy hands. So I feel like there were times he was supposed to bring his queen, the head queen. This is the feeling I'm getting here. This head queen. And justice. Okay, so that's the shadow card on this. So the head queen, the one that would have been officially the queen, I guess you could say. I feel like she was pretty connected to this this love affair she was having. She wasn't overly concerned about what you were doing other than her reputation. So, and I don't think you knew about this guy here, and I almost want to say he was someone very important to you. Or not to you. I'm sorry, but to, he was someone very important to the Pharaoh. I feel like he was a top level advisor, but it wasn't his experience and skill that got him there, but more of like a relative position, best friend, a political decision, something like that. But I really feel like that was what that connection was there. Now, so I feel like she kind of didn't care what you guys were doing. So I feel like he was able from time to time to kind of leave her behind, and it wasn't like, and she would play sick. I see her playing sick, and I feel, so I'm not feeling her as the problem. I'm really feeling it was these other collection of women who were on the same tier as you. I see them as being the issue here. So I feel she would play sick. She pretended like something was wrong with her, and I feel she was really good. Maybe he was a doctor. he was definitely very close, whatever he was, and she was able to play sick, and believably, and because of this, he could take you places that technically he should have been taking her, but she didn't care. She knew you had to take someone. So I feel like in the beginning it was like this open, like, yeah, well, you have to take someone, take her, whatever, she's new, she's not a big deal. But I feel over time she started to see that this was damaging her reputation around the kingdom, and so she did start to have a problem with that, and she started to turn her back to her old ways of saying it was fine for him to take you. Now, I feel like I feel like, so you were really happy you were going with him on trips that she should have gone, or sitting at the head seat where she should have sat, and then she returned because of the reputation. I'm really getting in this karma situation here. I'm actually getting you poisoning her. Not killing her, but poisoning her to the point where she's actually sick, like she said she was before with him. I feel like this was actually a comrade, a companion of yours, this male she was having an affair with. It didn't start that way, but it was something, he wanted her, you wanted him, and so together you worked together to actually make her ill. And then you were able to spend more time with him. So that was the one way I see with her. But like I said, she's not the one who I see as like the big influence, the big problem here, because I feel like she should have been there more often, but then she wasn't, and emotionally she was okay with it. It was just that whole reputation. So we get into what's happening with these other women that we saw. I'm very, very much seeing, gifts. Now I feel like he was constantly giving all of you gifts, but I feel like when he would give the other women, say, a necklace and a ring or a crown, he would literally give you like a whole new wardrobe, or a whole chest full of gold. Like, I'm just really feeling he just favored you in that way, of just giving you things, taking you places. I mean, it was very blatant. Anyone who was in the castle or in the inner circle, or even the circle right outside the inner circle, would probably see what was going on here between you guys. Now, I'm feeling something about an argument, not between the two of you, and not even with you. Okay, so now too many cards coming out. That was definitely a hand blunder. So sometimes it'll just come to me while I'm shuffling. I'm feeling one of the other women stood up to him. She got mad at him. No, she got mad at the queen for not keeping you in your place, and then she got mad at him. So I feel like this whole situation was going on, and you were just like, I don't have to deal with this because he's going to deal with it, and take care of it. I'm not going to worry myself about it. It was something that they were all fighting about, was you. Except for, so the women were fighting with the queen. The queen was trying to fight with him. He was pretty much blowing them off. So what I'm feeling is the two of you were just, we've got the Nine of Cups here. I feel like you guys were just relaxing, living in your own little world when you were together. I'm seeing a golden rod of some kind. It reminds me of like a magic wand you would see in a movie now, or probably even in these cards somewhere. But a golden rod, maybe, I guess, like, what's this at, like 10-12 inches long. Seeing it, you can pull the part of it off and there's a knife inside of it, and so I'm feeling like he gave you that it was for protection, because he saw like the look in these women's eyes. Well, he didn't think that they would do anything. He knew they would have their hand servants, or their security would possibly do something. There wasn't as much these women in the inner, I feel like they really grew up together. They spent a lot of time together. Yeah, they had jealous fights like sisters, but they stuck together when worst came to worst. You were definitely the outsider here, and so you had to have that protection with you. So I see him giving you that golden rod. I see there's like a red oval or circle. It's like a ruby or another kind of red crystal type thing, but it's the only ornament, only decoration to this golden rod with the knife inside, or a spear, something sharp inside, but it's not very long. So I feel like it was something you were able to twist and keep in your hair, or maybe keep tucked into the side of your pants or something. But it was something you had with you all the times. The Page of Wands, this is that sexual energy here. And the page, young people, young connection, but I'm not seeing a child. Just like you aren't seeing a child in this life. I don't see the child, because it's that reversed, blocked energy. We have that, that sexual suit of the wands, but this reversed, blocked child-like card. Try to see if let's see if I get something on the one was here. Again, like that, I'm getting the knight, the reversed knight of wands there. So just that blocked energy. I don't think you were pregnant, and I don't feel like you had any pregnancy terminations, but what I do feel like is that you took stuff before getting pregnant, kind of like a modern birth control, but herbs and a potion of sorts. But I don't feel you wanted a child, but he did. I don't think he wanted a child with you, though. I think he definitely wanted that child to be with the queen, just because of reputation and work standards. But I also feel like he had a lot of vanity as well, and he did not want your body changed or morphed at all by pregnancy. The queen, he kind of didn't have as much love for, because he knew, like, this was an arranged situation, him and the queen. Like, this was a situation that was basically forced upon him. As much freedom and choice as he had in everything. Royal weddings and marriages tend to be a force. But I don't feel like, I don't feel as though she had the child herself, though. I feel like she somehow was able to fake a pregnancy, and not from him, but this was just, I feel like she was able to fake a pregnancy, and someone else was pregnant, like someone else within the horde, I guess you could say. And I feel like this was definitely I feel really blown away by how much I'm feeling like this was the end here. This was the point where someone had to have that baby. You didn't want to have the baby. And I feel as though they were forcing you somehow. They were trying to convince you to have the baby, take away your potion, or your pregnancy prevention method of herbs or whatnot. So I'm definitely feeling these women and this whole pregnancy thing. My dogs are fighting. Hold on. I had to let my dogs out. They get crazy sometimes when I'm doing past life readings. I don't know why. Okay. So definitely I'm feeling like this force. This trying to force you to be pregnant. Like, that's really how they thought they would undo the two of you, because he was really, really attracted to, like, your physical appearance. Seeing him here in this Knight of Swords, like, he found out what they were doing and put a stop to it. Feeling drawn for one more card, and then, yeah, okay. So, I'm really feeling this is leading up to your death, and when I'm pulling this card, I really definitely feel that right now. So, we have the Ten of Swords, and it's definitely a betrayal. The end, you know, a severing of ties, a new life, and here I believe this, like, we're getting some of your death energy. It was right after this whole child situation. So the fact that he kind of charged through and found out what they were doing, that really, really started to unravel what was left of this connection, what was left of these women having any kind of pull over either of you. I really feel at that point on even the queen herself, though she grew some frustration with your closeness to the king, she was not one who wanted that, all this drama and everything to come out, even though I'm sure it did come out. She was very, very much concerned with this whole reputation that she had going on of being this great queen, I feel like. So the golden rod that you have, I see you taking it out one night. I see you approaching a woman in her bed, and I see you slitting her throat. I think this was probably the woman who really tried to trick you into getting pregnant. So I see that. I don't see you being caught. I do see the other women really knew this was you. He knew it was you too, but he didn't care. He said he probably would have done it himself. And it was more of a warning to the other women. So with all this kind of situation going on outside of you guys, I still feel as though the connection between the two of you was almost idyllic, almost perfect, just like the romance and the love and the care you shared for each other. It was almost unheard of at this time between people of these positions, just because, you know, things were so hard with the, you know, with ruling, with life in general, I guess. So I'm really feeling like even after this, after you murdered this woman who had been trying to come between you guys, everything still went smoothly between you, and almost smoother. I feel like the queen went back to being the woman who was by his side in public, but that inside, as soon as the doors were closed, the two of you were together. I'm seeing him carry you, like one of the times that you mentioned. There's someone in the building, there's someone in the room. There's someone who shouldn't be there, and it's a violent person. They're subdued by security, but for a few minutes they were not. And I feel like they had snuck in and they found you. They weren't searching for you, they were searching for him. And somehow they thought they could get to him through you. I don't think they were aware of the connection between the two of you. They just knew you were in the harem. They didn't think that he would see you being captured and say, oh, I have to save her, but that simply you would want to save your own self, your own skin, and say where he was, or give this information they were seeking. The information they were seeking, I'm seeing like a scroll with like the number 2 or 4 on it, but I know Um, but it's not the 2 or 4. It's like a different symbol or shape. But that's the. It reminds me of a 2 or a curvy 4. So I really just see him coming in. The 2 of you were to meet, and he sees this situation in front of him, and I feel like he attacks. I can't see him attacking him at the intruder, but I know he does. He attacks the intruder because I see the afterwards. I see you've hit the intruder on top of the head with something. It's like a face. You've hit him with a face, not your face, but like a bust, like a sculpture. You've hit him on the top of the head with that. But he's not completely subdued, but it did give you a chance to separate the 2 of them, and then security came. So I see that. That's not the cause of your death, but I do, or a catalyst at all to your death, but I do see it as something that happened in recent times to your death, nearby it. Your death is like, it's kind of calm. It's like in something that was coming. So I really feel like it's sickness. I don't know what it is. There is, you're very pale and sweaty. They're constantly cleaning you, constantly waving cool air at you. Servants are trying to feed you, keep your health up. I feel that several servants died while taking care of you because they caught what you had, because they were, not taking care of themselves, working around the clock, and then taking care of you as a very sick person. I do feel like he came to see you at the end, but then he was prevented from seeing you. I don't feel like he was there at the end, at the very end. I feel like he thought you had died already. Died, and I don't know why he couldn't see the body. They wouldn't let him see the body. Not until after your real death, but during your true death, but after they told him that you died, he couldn't see your body. Pale and sweaty, but I can't see the exact cause. The feeling of taking time. I'm seeing this as something that slowly progressed over a period of 4 months. I really feel like this is a slow poison. I feel like everyone around you thought it was a sickness, except for the person who was slowly poisoning you. And I do feel like it was the queen or one of her immediate servants that she had doing it for her, more likely. But I do, or no, that's not who it was. It was the queen, but she had put a bug in the ear of, not a literal, but she spoke to one of the other women, I guess, who were on the same wife tier as you, and told them what to do, told them how to slowly poison you so that the king would not suspect, but then it would kill you over time. And it did. And she was never caught. No one was ever caught, and they never admitted to anyone, I think, what they did. So that is your past life reading. That is some of the glimpse here. We got into that. That's some of the things you guys used to do together, or that he would do for you and would make the other women mad. I see a lot of him being busy throughout all this time. There was definitely love, definitely connection, but there was definitely him very, very busy. And so this connection would happen when it could. I feel like if he hadn't been so busy, hadn't been so focused on work, this was something he probably would have figured out how to replace the head queen with you. But I feel as though the head queen was some kind of political decision, strategic on their behalf. But yeah, I definitely feel that poisoning there at the end. All those things there. Whew. But altogether, I'd say the two of you were very happy together. You had a happy life. It was just obviously an extremely different time. People didn't live long in the first place, just to combat regular life, and then you place someone in this kind of position where they're part of a harem. I think that's just why we see the life ending a little bit more tragically or a little bit earlier. But I definitely see a real happiness between the two of you. And if things had been different, I feel like he definitely could have or would have chosen you over the power, even though the power and the strength is how he was raised. I feel like over time he would have chosen you over that. Well, yeah, that was your past life reading into this life that you sent me this week. I've really enjoyed doing that for you, and so I really appreciate you allowing me the opportunity to do that. I just saw a small wooden horse that you would keep in like your hand. I feel like that was something that he brought back for you one time, and it was so different than anything you had seen before. Like the toy itself, I feel like its legs kind of move like little not mechanical, but like had little joints that could move and change shape. And I think it brought you a lot of joy, and I could see you like sitting with it for hours and just kind of twiddling with the legs. Well, yeah. Thank you again for letting me do that, and thank you, Spirit Guides, for coming here today and showing me some of that and working through the cards as usual. We really appreciate that. Have a very blessed day.